I love Budapest. I love its vibe, the culture, the food, but it's not a perfect city. It has its quirks. There are things that might be shocking for people from different cultures, or stuff that are distorted by the internet. So in this video, we will show you what are the things you must know before coming to Budapest. One of the biggest draws of visiting Budapest used to be how cheap it is. Well, unfortunately, I'm here to break the bad news for you. That's not the case anymore. By no means is Budapest super expensive, but it's no longer the place where you spend a dime and live like a king. There are things which are less expensive than in Western Europe, and some that are a bit more pricier. However, you can still have a good time here without destroying your bank account. Just don't expect it to be dirt cheap. So don't come here to get drunk on a few bucks. Come here for the nice buildings, the culture, and the great food. Budapest is generally a very safe city to visit, but that doesn't mean we are a crime and scam-free utopia. Like with most major cities in Europe, it's best to be mindful of your valuables and keep them safe when being in a crowded area. And speaking of scams, I cannot stress enough the importance of avoiding taxis marked as freelancers. While Budapest's taxi business is regulated, they can find ways on how to deplete your wallets. So just stick with cab companies that have an app for ordering. Now, I may look like a super happy and energetic person on camera, and I'm really like this in real life, even though my producer says that it's a bit too much at times. However, not all Hungarians are like this. The reality is that wages in Hungary are low, and living standards are still behind Western European ones. Historically, we went through a lot. Occupation of the Ottoman Empire, under the rule of the Habsburgs, world wars, fascism, communism. So there is sort of a pessimism in most Hungarians, and people here may seem withdrawn. So if you don't see a ton of smiling, happy faces in restaurants and bars, that's not because of you. It's just how some people are here. But over the last few years, we're seeing some improvements in this area. A lot of young people are opening up businesses with a more positive energy. When visiting any big city and going to the most notable landmarks, chances are restaurants and bars right next to those will come with a higher price tag. And that's no different in Budapest. So when you get hungry right next to the Basilica, the Parliament, or in the Castle District, try to walk a bit further away if you want to get some really good meals for a more reasonable price. And perhaps skip on any restaurant in the Váci shopping street. This is like the most notable tourist trap there is here. We used to be heavy on cash, but today you can easily get by using only your card. The only times you need cash is if you need to use the public toilets. I mean, the few that there is, or in very small convenience stores or local markets. Honestly, almost every place accepts cards, so no need to bring a lot, just some. We actually covered this topic in a different video where we are answering some of the most common questions about Budapest that we took from the internet. If you want to know more, then maybe check that video out somewhere up there. Tipping culture can be different from country to country, so it's always good to understand when, how, and how much you should tip. Generally, when you get the bill, the first thing you should check is if there is a service charge. If you can't find that, just ask the staff member if service charge is included or not. If it is, there is no need to tip, just pay the amount on your bill. But if there is no service charge, then it's up to you if you wish to tip or not. Generally, somewhere between 10 to 15% tip is recommended. We know a lot of you enjoy vegetarian or vegan dishes, and while places here in Budapest offering such cuisine are growing, unfortunately, it's still not enough. Our culture and food is very meat heavy, so if you wish to have some local specialties that have no meat in them, it will be a very short list. Most of the vegetarian-friendly Hungarian dishes are pottages and vegetable stews that are hard to find even in restaurants. However, don't worry, there are still some really cool places offering vegetarian and vegan dishes. It might just take some time, to find them on Google Maps. Now, when it comes to communication, you can easily get by using the English language. However, if that doesn't work, you can use Google's Translator app. That's pretty good. We even use that in Japan, and it really helped us. But you know what's the key to a local's heart here in Hungary? Knowing at least a few phrases in Hungarian. If you want to show your appreciation and maybe say thank you, then just say köszönöm. Or if you happen to bump into somebody and want to be sorry for that, just say elnézést. Now, I know Hungarian is a difficult language, but still bear with me. If you want to say good day to someone, then just say jó napot. But if it's the morning, then try saying jó reggelt. In case it's already the evening, then say jó estét. And if you had a really good meal in a restaurant and you still want to show how tasty it was, say finom volt. Köszönöm. If you're gonna use the public transport and buy a daily or a weekly pass, let that be digital or paper-based, then great. The inspectors might ask you to show it, but that's it. Have fun traveling. However, if you're gonna buy a single fare ticket, then you must always validate it. Just use the QR codes if you use the app, or the machines that validate your ticket. But do note that some older vehicles may have the old punch-a-hole method, where you have to pull the lever hard in order to validate your ticket. One of the beefs that we have with Budapest is the lack of public toilets, and even if you can find one, it may cost like 200-250 Hungarian forints to get in, and it may not even be all that clean. This means that you may need to make a pit stop at a cafe anytime you need to visit the toilet. This is like the only reason why we may run into a Starbucks. There are things that look amazing and fun on social media, but here's the thing, from a local's perspective, they might be just meh or even outrageous. Like the New York cafe, yes, it's amazing on the inside, but the food and service isn't that magical for the price they ask. The parliament from the inside, it looks stunning for an architecture nerd like myself, but it's short and expensive. And don't even get me started on the lángos with insane toppings or chimney cake with ice cream filling. I mean, why? Also, in my opinion, we have a pretty good transportation system, so this hop-on, hop-off bus, it's kinda overrated. Budapest has some truly breathtaking sights and beautiful buildings, but let's be honest, on Instagram you always see just the best views. However, that's not every street in the city. Over the last few years, thanks to renovation, a lot has improved on what the communist era destroyed, but we are a small and not too rich Eastern European country, so there are still buildings and streets where you see time taking its toll. Now, to me personally, it's this contrast of old things next to new things that add to the charm of the city, but it might be surprising to some of you who visit Budapest. In the 7th district of Budapest, we have the so-called party area. Now, if you're looking for a nice drink and nice food, brilliant, then come here. It's excellent for that. However, if you're looking for accommodation, especially if you're coming with family and children, maybe you need to look elsewhere, because the name says it, it's the party area. In the evening, this place gets crowded. There's gonna be a lot of people and a lot of noise. So if you do come to Budapest, make sure to maybe look for accommodation outside of this area. Now, if you are a smoker, then there are some unique laws that regulate where you can and cannot smoke here. The most obvious one is that you cannot smoke inside, only if there is a garden area of a restaurant or a bar. But even there, they may not allow smoking. You should also note that you cannot smoke within 5 meters of the entrance of most buildings. But most importantly, you cannot smoke in the stops for public transport. So if you do feel the need to light up a cigarette, just make sure there are no such signs close to you. I've seen many trending videos and articles on the internet that were claiming that if you come to Hungary and you clink your beers, that's extremely rude, so don't clink your beers. Boy, that is stupid. Honestly, there was an urban legend that said that when we did the revolution against the Habsburgs, our generals were executed by the Habsburgs. And the Habsburgs celebrated by clinking their beers. And a lot of Hungarians at that time apparently vowed that for 150 years they will never clink their beers. Well, that's an urban legend. There isn't really any written proof that it really happened, plus that 150 years already passed a long time ago. So if you come to Hungary and you want to clink your beers, cheers to that. No one's gonna say that's rude. Also, one other thing that I see is that you should not refuse pálinka. I mean, yes, pálinka is one of our spirits, and if you come to Eastern Europe, there are a lot of countries with their respective spirits, and all of us are super proud of them. But honestly, if someone wants to really push pálinka onto you and you don't want to drink it, great, then say no. But if you want to, maybe taste it, we really appreciate that. Anyways, if you come here, either clink your beers, either drink pálinka or don't. Nevertheless, enjoy your stay. Cheers. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned a lot about Budapest before coming here. If you want to learn more, perhaps look at our other videos, and if you appreciate this kind of content, maybe hit the like button. We are really thankful for that. Thank you very much for watching, and see you guys in our future videos. Bye!